I'm gonna keep farming Pendleskin. I'm gonna get a SHAKO and I'm gonna pop all the way off. And then I'm gonna get a rare rare spiderweb sash and cry. Holy I called it! Oh, I'm so good at this game. I'm so good at the game. Did you see how good at the game I am? So it is officially 12:06 a.m. on Saturday. And that means that we've made it through, come on brain, do the math, 28 hours of the ladder start for patch 2.6 season 3 of Diablo 2 Resurrected. We started off as a Salvation Paladin for our team. We got the world first build, we got the world first Ubers. It was a terrible torch. What can you do? That's just the general luck. But what I figured I would do is I would show you the character that I've been playing with and give you an idea of like how we got to this point. So in case you were looking for something to kind of inspire yourself walking into this ladder season this weekend, you'd have a pretty good route for how to build it out. Also, we got like actually bananas drops, which I never get good drops. This is a completely new world for me, and my head is swimming with all of the power that comes along with getting half decent gear at the end of a day of solo farming. So let me show you our character, let me show you the gear. You can use this as a basic guide for how to work your way through the start of the ladder season, especially if you're just now getting into it. And just to quickly show you the type of items that you could expect to find at this point, again, just everything here has been farmed either from Pendleskin or picked up while we were doing Bale runs. One, we got this absolutely disgusting Tomb Reaver. I was going back and forth of whether or not I wanted to identify it. Obviously, it's not ethereal, but it also means that you get to use it on a Fury Druid and you don't need to Zod it. Less damage, but you have more options for the sockets. Rolled well on the damage, okay on the resistance, good on the life per kill, good on the magic find. This thing's absolutely disgusting. I am trying to sell it because I don't think I'm going to use it on a Mercenary. I have it up on Tradery if people are looking for it. But that thing's absolutely disgusting. It made me immediately want to swap over to an Act 2 Mercenary. I'm just too impatient to wait for him to kill things so that he gets the extra magic find. Got a 33 Weizen draw, which is really nice for a beginner cold Boazon. Obviously the SHAKO, Goblin Toe, which was a nice pickup. Hellmouth. I know you might think, well, why do you care about Hellmouth? I want to build my Enchantress Sorceress or the Enchanted Crossbow Paladin, which is a video I want to be putting up soon. And Hellmouth are kind of a good best in slot there, so I'm thinking about holding on to these. 210 Bow, I wish these came with more res or magic find or something, but it's just nice to pick them up. A 38 ED Jewel, I can't quite remember where this dropped, but I think it was like really early on into the run. And I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll take a 30 ED Jewel. We got the perfect Cold Sunder Charm. This just dropped in the Terrorize Worlds Don't Keep when we were doing Bale runs. A nice 3 bow and crossbow matriarchal bow. I actually found a 3 to bow and crossbow, 15 ED, 1 AR stag bow that also already had 2 sockets in it. My heart was absolutely crushed. We got a 3 open socket ethereal bone weave, which might be nice to upgrade our Mercenary's treachery to. Obviously, we got the ethereal Crown of Thieves Grand Crown. I'm so excited to have this because it basically means I don't need to worry about the helmet of my Mercenary ever again, unless again I sell this. I also have it up on Tradery because I don't personally care about ethereal because you know I don't think that defense matters at all, but people care about it, so it's cool to have it. The ethereal chance cards to go along with it. The Gull Dagger, again, this took 6 million gold worth of gambling to pick up. I was expecting to get it in like 1 to 3 million gold, so we just kept selling items from the Pendleskin runs, dropping it all over onto my sorceress, and then sitting there and buying hundreds and hundreds of daggers, but we got there. Picked up a carrion ring. The only other unique ring that I got was a min roll manaled heal, and I was so excited to get anything other than that. I just wish it wasn't carrion wind. We picked up a hot kava. You may not think that hot kava is like one of the dopest items in the game, but it quite literally is. This thing does a silly amount of damage. You can throw an Eth rune in it as well, so you actually get minus target defense on boss monsters. It comes with ITD itself, so every minion you're going to be hitting near 95% of the time. The Deadly Strike makes it a really good Blade Fury option as well. And then the Find Item Grimoire and Find Potion basically means you don't need to put points into those on a Warcry Barbarian. I'm very, very excited. I can't extol enough the virtues of Hot Kava. It's also just a great weapon for leap attack. If you didn't see my stuff from season 2, I recommend watching it. And the reason why this item is such an exciting pickup for me is because we just got a 5 to Warcry green barbarian horned helm. 1, horned helm is my favorite base. 2, it's a 5 to Warcry helmet with a 2 to barb as opposed to 2 to Warcry, and it comes along with a little bit of extra life and res, and we can throw a P topaz into this. So I think I'm going to make a Warcry barbarian after my enchantress sork, but this is why you pick up every rare item that Pindleskin drops. But I figured just showing you an idea of the items that we have gotten, and again, maybe 4 to 6 hours of Pindle farming, and just through our run through hell over this past 26 hours of gameplay in total. So I figured that could wet your whistle for now and get you excited for you inevitably get into the end game and get to get your own farming started. So we're playing a Fist of the Heavens Paladin. The reason why it's so easy to slot this in, especially for casual group play and even in pub play, is because realistically, Fist of the Heavens is just a 40-point build. You put in the points to Fist of Heavens, you put in the points to Holy Bolt. You use Holy Bolt when there's only a couple targets, you use Fist of Heavens when there's a lot of small targets, and then everything else just kind of fits in with group play. Because we have so many elemental builds, especially with the new Phoenix Strike Assassin around, I've also maxed out Conviction Aura. This means that when we're in a Bale run, I'm breaking most resistances for lightning and fire, and then when I'm not breaking them or they're broken by Sunder Charms, I'm getting the maximum effect for Conviction Aura against them for other people's damage. So those Blizzard sorceresses can actually do damage. Everybody trying to be a Phoenix Strike Assassin. Lightning Fury Amazon, which I've seen a bunch of actually, are also really enjoying the max level Conviction. I went down into Redemption so that I can personally clear out ghosts as well as dolls, specifically in Bale's Throne Room. A lot of people like Redemption Aura. I don't personally use it a whole bunch. When we don't need Conviction Aura, I am using 1 point Salvation. And then I have a couple dump points into Vigor just for a little bit of mobility through town, and a couple dump points into Cleansing Aura. Again, this is very Bale wave focused. You use this to clear off the poison from everybody on wave 2, which is really, really nice. Also, it helps to clear out curses in Chaos Sanctuary, and in general, Cleansing Aura just gets a little bit slept on. You should probably use it more often. For our primary kit of gear, since the Paladin is so easy to put Spirit onto, obviously we're going to be using 2 of those. I have a 34 Spirit here and a 29 Spirit here. The base resistance on this shield was 43, so this thing is actually kind of nutty, and I'm going to keep trying to re-roll it until I get a perfect roll. I wish I could make this up. I literally called dropping this SHAKO, and well, you can watch for yourself. I'm still using Stealth. This could be a smoke for resistances, considering without Salvation Aura up, our resistances are a little... they're all right. I have 8 cold res. You know, I've recently bumped up my fire res, which is kind of good. But considering we're Fist of Heavens, it's harder to farm places like the cows. So I don't have as many resistance charms as I normally would have liked at this point in the ladder. And I'm kind of just making do with what I have. For the rest of the gear, I'm using a Paladin high res amulet that we happen to find, a Saurus boots. I have a 10 FCR piece here. I went out and crafted a caster crafted belt for more faster cast rate. I don't think I'm currently hitting the breakpoint that I need to be, but this is nice to have around so I can slot it in. If I wasn't using this, I would just be using big life and resistance at this point. I have another res ring here, and then dual res gloves. Across my charms, these are really, really inadequate charms, but life, resistances, hit recovery, magic find, whatever you can cobble together at this point. I'm still using teleport staff on swap, and I'm also using a Zephyr rune word, and let me just show you that. So we also have Zephyr rune word. It just says 25% faster run walk because I'm actually target farming Pindle whenever I'm not in a group play scenario. Players 1 elite sniping is one of the best ways to get a leg up over somebody like the sorceress who's able to go and farm Mephisto and Diablo very easily. Here we can stack on as much magic find as possible, and since our primary kit is already decently strong at killing Pindleskin with Fist of the Heavens, I use this for mobility while in town, and you can see the difference here. If I keep Vigor up, we're already kind of fast, right? We have a lot of plus skills on this version, but when we swap over to all of our magic find and we're lacking a lot of plus skills, the Zephyr rune word helps to keep our mobility up, as well as getting us to Pindleskin as fast as possible. We have just enough points into strength to be able to wear our gear. We have just enough points into dexterity so that we're maintaining chance to block 75% with Holy Shield up, and then everything else goes into vitality. That gives us 1400 life and 500 mana, which I feel is perfectly fine on this build, because we are very specifically using an Act 1 Mercenary with an Insight bow. Our Insight rolled pretty nasty, I'm not going to lie to you. 5 to crit, 17 to meditation. We happened to find a decent diamond bow for socket that dropped, so I figured we'd go with Act 1. The other great part about it is that she's using Freezing Arrow, and this helps to stop things in their tracks, at least for a second, so that we can put them into hit recovery with both Fist of Heavens as well as Holy Bolt, or move away from them using Charge and Vigor. And then I put a Treachery on her, and I just recently dropped this off of Pindleskin. It's an Ethereal Crown of Ages. It's only 1 off perfect for the Life Leech. This thing's just nasty and basically solved all of her survivability issues. I am trying to sell it because I'd rather buy into a cheaper version of it. I don't care about Ethereal. But I mean, a nasty Ethereal Crown of Ages is definitely not something I would turn my nose up at. Before that, sometimes she would die before Treachery kicked in. But once Treachery procs, she is basically unkillable with her own survivability as well from the crowd control. On the setup right now, we have 85 Magic Find, which is kind of okay enough. We're at the 105 FCR point. This doesn't really get you anything. It's either 75 or 125. And if I could get a perfect Spirit and Bolt slots and then some FCR on another ring and an amulet, I could actually hit 125. Fist of Heavens doesn't really need the 125 breakpoint until you have Enigma, so I really wouldn't worry about it. The 75 FCR breakpoint is more than good enough on this build. Our Magic Find setup actually has us at 360 Magic Find, which I'm very impressed that we're able to reach this point. It took a little bit of tenacity, and I'll explain to you how we got there, but you'll notice that we're only at 36 faster cast rate. Again, for Pindleskin farming max range with Fist of Heavens, the FCR isn't super important. It's just getting to him as quickly as possible so that by the time he's dead, the other undead haven't resurrected. We have a Gull Dagger that I happen to find a 10 Magic Find magic jewel to be able to put into it. We had to gamble for this Gull Dagger, so I went and made a level 12 sorceress, and I gave her roughly 6 million gold to get here. That's a little bit beyond what statistics would say you would need to spend to be able to get a Gull Dagger, but we eventually got it. Obviously, if you had a Blade of the Alibaba, you could be using that as well, but at this level, this is much stronger than Blade of Alibaba, and it's not until you can get 2 Ists into Alibaba that's actually better than Gull with an Ist itself. We put 3 perfect topazes into a ring mill that I just bought from Farah. We actually have a 4-socket armor at this point, but I didn't have the strength to wear it, and I didn't want to respec because I only have 1 respec left over. Obviously, we still have the same SHAKO. I put a P topaz into that as well. I have a little bit of Magic Find on a Tri-Res amulet. This thing is basically like we have a Mara's at home, and it does more than well enough for us. We're still using the Spirit. We need some plus skills in FCR to be able to manage at all. We have 22 Magic Find on boots that we bought, random Magic Find ring here, another random Magic Find ring here, and then we picked up a pair of Ethereal Chances. During our run, we actually got 2 pairs of Ethereal Chances, both Ethereal, and I've been using these now for about, I don't know, like 5 or 6 hours of Pindleskin farming, and I've only lost 3 durability. He really doesn't hit us the vast majority of the time, and it's just nice to be able to use these as long as possible. I have bought a pair of 22 Magic Find gloves, just in case these do end up breaking, but it's more than good enough. Let me go do a Pindleskin run just so you get an idea of how we're kind of optimizing it and how we're staying alive, even though we have almost no plus skills and basically no FCR. And I just wanted to point out, we're using Vigor Aura this entire time for max mobility. You'll see that I have 11 fire res, 8 lightning res, and only 28 cold resistance. I'm sitting on 1300 life. None of these resistances are important. Pindleskin should not be hitting you if you're doing this correctly on similar gear. If you're really concerned, you could always swap over to Salvation Aura, but you're just going to lose efficiency that way. Starting off in a new game, we swap over to Zephyr while we're running. We have Vigor Aura up on both sides. If you're picking up items, which we are, to generate gold and then to use that to gamble or buy things that we find, you want to make sure to shop at Anya. Not only that, you can always check for 320 gloves, either martial arts, javelin and spear skills, or crossbow and bow skills. And then you could also check out the claws if you really want. I like the idea of gambling and hitting big. At the very least, you should check the gloves because these are selling for a decent amount and will continue to do so as more and more people are actually getting the items that they need to be able to build Phoenix Strike Assassin. As you're walking into the portal, make sure to swap back over and you want to have charge available. And again, with Vigor, we charge right up. From here, you can actually, without aiming at all, just hold it in this area. And you'll see that Pindle Skin's dead. Maybe one of his minions will make it over to you, and you just check to see if this is anything that you want. Items that will sell for decent gold are good to pick up. You can always run into the next area too. You will typically find a shrine here. I found multiple gem shrines, which is a good way of making extra topaz or amethysts if you're crafting. And there's typically a poppable here. Sometimes there are monsters in this area. I really wouldn't recommend doing that. But again, I'll just do another quick run to show you what it looks like. Pop into hell, make sure to swap over to your Zephyr. Boop, and we're off. You don't need to worry about repositioning your mercenary. Even if the other skeletons resurrect, it's not really a problem. Check over Anya, check to see if she has any gloves. Again, I'm just gonna check real quick, nothing cool there. Charge into range. From the back court, pop over, Fist of Heavens. If they are getting really close to you, you can actually swap over to Holy Bolt, which will do more damage in a line and stop them more aggressively. And I've been able to maintain like a full inventory of full rejuves because I'm only using one every like 5 or 6 runs at this point. But there you have it. That's the recap of our Fist of Heaven's Paladin. Obviously, we pushed with the group. Right now, I'm level 89. We've been in bail runs for a lot of it because we're helping Teo push to level 99. While he's farming the terror zones, he comes in for a couple different waves. But obviously, you know, what level you're going to be is going to vary drastically. You could be doing all of this around level 80, maybe 75 even. If you are, you probably need the dual spirit setup at the very least to have enough damage to be able to kill Pindle in a safe enough time on players 1. But just remember, the whole idea is stack as much magic vine as possible, make sure to get Pindle dead and check what he drops. Since he's a super unique, he's always going to drop 2 items. If you're just using the elite farming technique, go for it. We've gotten some pretty nasty drops. Again, I'll include the clips here just so that people can see them. And I look forward to you all enjoying this ladder season 3. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I also look forward to seeing you in the next one.